Don't be so fucking stupid.
Johnny, is the United States of America, is it a little bit like ancient Sparta? Sparta, Johnny. Ancient Sparta, where their whole culture was built on bloody warfare and being a soldier and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Well, they sort of are. They're turning into that, Johnny. We've bloody covered this subject before on the Ask Johnny channel. And it appears, because the US is down on its recruiting numbers, it's got to bloody target more people to try and get them in the fucking army. Yeah. And the way they're doing that, Johnny, it seems, they're sending bloody recruiters. So what are they doing? They're turning up at bloody schools?
Really interesting is starting to happen more and more at our nation's schools. More and more military recruiters are showing up during your child's school day. I don't know if you've noticed this or not, if your children have come home and say, hey, during lunch today, there were a bunch of soldiers in our lobby. Like, what the heck's going on? They had a whole table on, like, army stuff, and they were talking about submarines, and they were talking about, you know, tanks, and they were talking about all sorts of stuff.
Holy shit, Johnny! Now, they are especially targeting the poorer bloody schools, Johnny. Why there are poor schools in the US is beyond me anyway, but that's what they're doing. They're targeting the more impoverished bloody educational facilities. Oh, Jesus, Johnny, surely not.
Okay, so we're going to throw billions of dollars and send military recruiters into schools, and instead of fixing the schools and, like, lifting up these, like, liberal cities which have been destroyed, no, we're going to throw them billions of dollars from the Pentagon.
Jesus Christ!
And tell them, you know, the only way out for you is either to, you know, try to play basketball or, you know, join the military.
Right, yes. And they seem to be encouraging these kids to go in the army and find the army a fulfilling career.
To, you know, try to play basketball or, you know, join the military. We need you to go to the Middle East.
It's incredibly racist. Yeah, you're right.
Now, being in the armed forces in the US, Johnny, it can be a fulfilling career. But I don't know whether they're telling these kids that if you join the army, there's a very good chance you may be sent off to some foreign land and get shot at. Yeah, blown up or whatever. Isn't that grooming? Are they telling them that they're actually they might get killed?
First, a question for you. I'll ask you in the audience here. Let me know in the chat below. Should military recruiters be allowed to come into your schools and recruit kids to join the military? Well, you might have noticed an uptick in this effort at your local schools. Parents have been letting me know.
I bet they go through all the bloody positives, university stuff and education and learning a trade and learning a bloody whatever it is. And how great it is with friendships and all that sort of stuff. Oh, Jesus Christ. But I bet they don't show any bloody scenes of what's going on in the Ukraine or bloody Israel or whatever.
The army, isn't it curious the way that military personnel make up such a significant portion of your country's homeless population?
Get into them, Russell.
Isn't it significant to discover that many people that are still serving in the army are unable to support themselves and use food banks? Isn't it significant that patriotic rhetoric can be deployed?
So, Johnny, I don't know. It seems to be another bloody symptom that everything is not quite right in the US, that they do things that are slightly mentally retarded.
Yeah, by jingoes.
That are obviously wrong, but people just don't seem to care and just accept it, and that's what the US does. But Johnny, the recruiting for the armed forces in the US, it's down. And they're in desperate need of new people to kill.